Jahmhr Gibbs is the number 2 best pick in fantasy football. Hands down, no question about it. Unless you want to argue he's really number 1. But number 1, video 1 was Joe Cigar Smokin' Burrow. And this is a 4-part video series. I'm releasing one player at a time, 1 through 4, who are the best 4 players in fantasy football 2023 at the cost of entry. Video 3 and video 4 will follow in the coming days. Let's talk Jahmhr Gibbs. The Fantasy Football Show begins right now.
This is the Fantasy Football Show with your host, Smitty.
Take a lap. Smitty, what about David Montgomery? But Smitty, they gave David Montgomery a lot of money. But Smitty, he's too small. Smitty, they didn't use DeAndre Swift. What makes you think they're going to use another, I don't know, smaller type of back? Okay, let's address every one of these common Bob questions that we get regarding Jahmhr Gibbs breaking out and becoming a top 5 to 10 running back. Yeah, you heard me right. He's a top 5 to 10 running back. I didn't stutter. I didn't hesitate. I didn't even blink. Let me put this very delicately. Monty has nothing to do with Jahmhr Gibbs. They're completely different roles in this offense. They're not even in the same role whatsoever. Monty's not rushing for 17 touchdowns in 2023. The Lions aren't going to be lining up inside the 5-yard line over and over like they did in 2022. Amon-Ra St. Brown isn't getting tackled at the 1-yard line on multiple occasions again in 2023. In fact, legend has it Amon-Ra St. Brown may never get tackled again. No, this man is not looking at a 17 touchdown hog. This guy is going to see goal line work. He's going to see receiving work. The report over a month ago from individuals at camp said that the Lions were making a point of emphasis to move Jahmhr Gibbs all over the field of practice. In fact, the same reporter went on to say that in like 3 consecutive plays, Gibbs was out at wide receiver 1 play. The very next play, he was in the backfield. The very next play, he was out at wide receiver, motioned across, then returned to the backfield and took the handoff. They're literally moving him all over the field. Where Monty is, what Monty's up to has no relation to Jahmhr Gibbs and Jahmhr Gibbs' value in 2023. We don't expect Jahmhr Gibbs to run for 1,000 yards, not as a rookie, maybe not on the regular ever. He is a potentially 800-yard runner. He's a 900-yard runner, an occasional 1,000-yard even type of runner. This is a 1,500 to 1,800 total yard back, occasional 2,000-yard back, but he's going to divide it all up in a way that you need in a run-heavy system another RB to take on at least 800 to 1,000 rushing yards. If Monty wasn't on roster, we need somebody else to take on this role that I just described to keep this man out in the flat, to keep him out in the slot. He will be catching 5 to 7 receptions some games. He doesn't have time to run the ball. Some games he will. Some games he'll get 8 carries and have 140 yards rushing. This guy's going to get his share of running touchdowns, receiving touchdowns. He will get 2 or 3 goal line touchdowns, whether you believe it or not. They could line up at the 5-yard line. This guy go in motion, take a handoff, go right into the end zone. Don't think, oh, because he's smaller, he won't be trusted near the goal line. This is a guy that if he has a crack or a seam in the defense, he's gone. Even though Monty's totally unrelated to his workload in terms of taking from it, Monty's a necessity to keep him from carrying the football too many times. This is not something that should even concern you, Bob. This statement drives me crazy. What does this have to do with anything? Because they paid Monty a certain amount of money, you think that determines the depth chart? You think that going number 12 overall in an NFL draft running back climate where nobody goes really in the first round anymore, you think going 12 overall doesn't outweigh what you're paying Montgomery to be a between the tackle runner to keep him healthy? This is the priority. Did you not see the war room go crazy when they drafted him at number 12 overall? And the reason they went crazy, they went nuts, is because they didn't think he'd be there. Because they heard from several teams and sources Gibbs was going to be gone by 12. And you can laugh at that all you want and use old storytelling, boring stories. Or Smitty, the running backs don't go early anymore. And that may revert back to normal, no running backs going high in 2024. Maybe this kickstarted a new trend of one or two of them going early again. But the Lions don't care about what was or what people are saying or what people should do or what the trend is in terms of ignoring running backs. Atlanta was innovating. The Lions are thinking smart. They don't care about that trending and what other people are doing. They said, we want our guy at number 12. They almost took him at number 6. They didn't take him at 6. They made some moves. They decided to roll the dice that he'd fall to 12. They heard he wasn't going to fall to 12. I believe many teams were considering Gibbs, and some teams had Gibbs number 1 on their running back draft board. It was not crazy. It was not misled. It was not them being gullible into thinking another team wanted Gibbs. It was true. There were teams that really considered taking Gibbs inside the top 12, and they got him at 12, and they screamed and yelled. You practically had grown men holding each other in excitement about getting this guy at 12. What about Monty's contract? This is the dumbest argument I've ever heard in trying to tear down whether he's going to be the guy. It's a ridiculous, disapproved comment and reaction.
You've just been Smitty disapproved.
Okay, so this whole size thing is crazy. We have plenty of examples of running backs that have been at the 200-pound frame. It's not like he's 170 or 188 or even 192. He will be about 204, 205 after he puts on NFL weight with NFL trainers and NFL coaches, and the NFL experience and the NFL environment is going to add at least 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 very solid pounds to a guy that weighs 199 right now. When he slimmed down to hit his 40 time, he was in probably the quickest, lightest shape of his life trying to get ready for the combine. He's not going to be worried about the 40 time, and he's probably going to put on a couple LBs just for that reason alone. But NFL training, working out, NFL food, living at the facility, eating, working. He's now got a full-time job of living at the facility, and he's going to weigh 204, 205. This is going to be a very dumb point for anybody still bringing it up in a couple even weeks or months. It's going to be a ridiculous standpoint. Even if he played at 199 all year long, he's elusive. He's not going to get smashed to pieces. We've seen players at his size all the time. But Smitty, he's 5'9". You know who was 5'9"? Priest Holmes. Priest Holmes was 5'9", about 209. This guy's 5'9", 199 at the combine, probably more like 204. You're talking about no height difference and a 4 or 5 pound playing weight difference between him and Priest Holmes. So get out of here with your ridiculous Gibbs is too small comments. You don't know what you're talking about. Complaining Caleb. This one also irritates me when people say things like Swift didn't get used. What makes you think they're going to use Gibbs? As if you can tie one player to another. If you could look at the reaction, if you haven't seen it, of the staff and the owner when they drafted him number 12 overall, when Gibbs fell to 12 and they didn't expect him to be there. Their number 1 running back over Bijan, their number 1 running back for their system, when he was still sitting there on the board, and they were able to draft him. The excitement running through that entire staff, you've got to be out of your mind if you think that they're going to use him or misuse him like they misused Swift. And I won't make excuses for the Lions. I don't really know the reasons why they hated Swift so much, but they did. And to try and link Swift because he's a receiving back to the likelihood that they ignore the value of Jahmhr Gibbs is ridiculous. That's more of a Worried William comment than William's other comment. This is Unger's comment, but Worried William is thinking this too. Worried William might have invented this statement. And it's like, I don't even get it. I don't even get it, to be honest with you. They're two completely different players. This team, this staff, this owner, everybody in unison drafted this man, Jahmhr Gibbs, to be their leader, their running back of the future, their weapon. He's not even a running back. He's a weapon. That's why Monty has no relation to his value. He's just a straight up playmaking weapon, a machine, a playmaking machine. At any moment he sees a crease or a crack in the defense, he is gone. And that's what makes this 580-yard rushing line on Underdog Fantasy, promo code Smitty. The link's in the description of this video. It's in the description of every video, or you can use promo code Smitty, or Smitty gets entered for you as a promo code if you just use the link in the description. But on Underdog Fantasy, promo code Smitty, there's a high or low pick'em line for his total yards on the season on the ground rushing, and it's 580 yards. You got to smash that higher. Try the link out. It's unreal. The doubt in the I don't know, the question mark surrounding his ability to run the football with Monty present. Like, he's not going to get 580 yards. He's going to obliterate that 580-yard rushing line. Hit that higher on Underdog right now. You can couple 5 of these really easy calls together on one slip, and if you land all 5, it's 20 times your money. So $5, every $5 becomes $100 if you just pick out 5 really easy higher low lines to attack. This is, look, let me just put it this way. So we've addressed all the crazy dumb comments you hear. What about his size? What about the usage of Swift? What about Monty? What about the 17 touchdowns that Monty's now going to get? As if it's going to translate at all. Monty could have 905. He could have 1,000 yards even and 6 touchdowns. That wouldn't affect Jahmhr Gibbs at all. I know people think that if Monty succeeds, it's got to take from him, but again, it doesn't. I've already explained, it doesn't matter. They have different roles in the offense. My thinking here is this kid gets utilized so much all over the field as a weapon, especially with Jameson Williams out the first 6 games. You got Laporta, a rookie tight end that's going to be thrown to the fire. You got Jahmhr Gibbs, who they're already in practice confirmed. It's not a thought process or a speculative piece somewhere written by a beat writer. This is like fact. They're already moving him all over the field. Like, they're planning and plotting 2023 out. They're scheming. They're drawing up plays. They're running their offense with Jahmhr Gibbs all over in motion. And this guy in motion, not knowing if he's going to be a receiver, a running back, who knows where he's going on the field when he's in motion. If you think St. Brown's getting stopped this year, you got another thing coming, because this kid's going to make St. Brown's life a cakewalk. St. Brown's going to have his best year ever. And the Lions are going to be in a dogfight with, you heard me right, the Chicago Bears for the division win. And honestly, I go back and forth on who's going to win the division. When I'm talking Lions players, when I'm talking up Gibbs, when I start working it out in my head, I say to myself, what am I doing? The Lions will win the division. But I do love Fields and what the Bears are putting together. The Bears feel very much like the Bengals the year the Bengals were completely doubted, and I said that they would win their division and talked about them being a playoff and Super Bowl contender. And people laughed me out of rooms. I feel the same way about both the Lions and the Chicago Bears. I don't think they're necessarily going to make it to the Super Bowl, but I think that the Lions or the Bears could be the team facing off against the Eagles in the conference championship game. You heard me right. You heard me right. It could be the Lions or the Chicago Bears, and you can laugh all you want at either one of those, both of them. This guy right here, in hindsight, we're all going to look back and say to ourselves, we should have drafted him in the top 15 overall. I am not giving you a blank check to go out on draft day and spend top 15 overall value on Jahmhr Gibbs. Although it wouldn't shock me if by September 1 or late August, we're actually drafting this guy. We're actually drafting this guy in the 18 to 25 overall territory. Would not shock me. But until then, understand why I'm even creating this video, because when we look at a draft board and Jahmhr Gibbs is going in the 3.12 to 4.5 territory, which is where he's falling, the teams you can build with this are just unmatched. If you start reaching for him in the late second, because I say he's a top 15 overall player. You know what? He's not even a top 15 overall player. He's a first round player. In hindsight, he will be a first round player. He'll be a top 12 overall player at the end of the year. And in hindsight, we'll say, man, he was a top 10 pick. We just didn't know it. That's what people are going to say. Not our people, because we know what time it is. But our people do have a little bit of a tendency to not take advantage of what's being allowed. And if I'm telling you he's a top 12 overall player and you think, oh, well, at least got to take him in 2, then you're missing the point and you're kicking yourself right in the nads, because this guy is going at the very earliest late round 3 and oftentimes in 4. And even if you reached on Burrow in, let's say, mid 3rd, you took Gibbs in the 4th, you took Olave in the 2nd, you took Bijan in 1, you are absolutely crushing everybody. Don't be a Bob. Don't grab this kid too early. Understand that in the 3rd round, I'm okay with it if you need to get your guy, but don't step on yourself. Don't get in your own way and cause yourself to miss out on a lot of value that is to be grabbed and had in so many of your leagues. The reason he wins you a league is he's in the 3rd to 4th round. He could probably still win you a league in the 18 to 25 overall territory, but let's let him get there. Let's not force him there. Let's not nudge him in that direction by drafting him too early and letting other people see it then repeat it. Jahmhr Gibbs wins you a league in round 4. Jahmhr Gibbs
wins you a league even in round 3. And that's all you need to know right now, because he's going there guaranteed in the 3 to 4 territory. Now get out of here. Get on Underdog Fantasy promo code Smitty and start drafting Jahmhr Gibbs and start building teams with Jahmhr Gibbs in that 3rd to 4th round territory, especially 4th round, and go win some championships. Now get out of here.
This is the Fantasy Football Show with your host, Smitty.
Take a lap.